Hey everybody, Daren Wendell with Wendell Fishing, and I wanted to take a moment today to talk about something that came up during my appearance on the Alex Rudd podcast. We got into a fascinating discussion about when AI meets sonar technology, how it can seriously disrupt bass fishing. It was such a compelling topic, I thought it deserved its own video to really talk about the ever-evolving landscape when it comes to technology and bass fishing. Let's hop in. I believe that within my lifetime, I think we all are eventually going to agree that technology has gone too far when it comes to bass fishing. I believe eventually we will know so much information about what's happening underneath the water that it won't even be challenging anymore. Now, I know some of you already feel that we are already there with forward-facing sonar, but let's take a moment to think about how that's not going to stop. That technology train is never going to stop. So let me share with you just my thoughts about where I think this is going to go. But first, let's talk about AI for a second. According to a McKinsey report, they say that between 2016 and 2030, AI could disrupt around 15% of the global workforce. They say that 52% of all telecommunication companies already use an AI chatbot. Google processes 6.9 billion queries using AI technology. And by 2035, they say that 75% of all vehicles will have some type of AI. So AI is coming whether we like it or not, but how does it affect bass fishing? Well, let's talk about it in the context of the way I like to fish, which is kayak fishing and kayak fishing tournaments. So if you don't know a lot about kayak fishing tournaments, it's a little bit different than a traditional tournament where you kind of measure by weight and that's how you win. In kayak fishing tournaments, we practice something called CPR, catch, photo, release, where you take your bass, you basically lay it down on a catch board like this or a similar measuring device. The bass always lays to the left. You snap a photo, and then what you do is you upload that into a TMS, which is a tournament management system. Now, currently what happens is that these fish are judged by humans, and the problem with things being judged by humans is that mistakes are made. The rule is you can't catch the same fish twice. Now, it happens from time to time, and when that happens, essentially it's usually pretty obvious to the tournament director or the judges, and they'll DQ one of the fish. I just had someone on my Kayak Fishing Obsessed podcast, check it out, kayakfishingobsessed.com, and they received second place. However, when they opened the leaderboard back up after the tournament was over and after they handed out all the awards, he was like, wait a second, those are the same fish. Now, Hobie Bass Open Series ended up defending their decision, and that was it. Nonetheless, a lot of people that I spoke to, people who've judged hundreds of thousands, 500,000, have been judging fish for decades, said it was the same fish. So what's going to happen? I think it's already started to happen, right? Instead of humans judging fish, they're going to be able to take AI tools, overlay these bass, be able to determine scale patterns, length with pinpoint accuracy, and eventually, over time, you won't even have the need for human judges. So here's the twist. What I think is going to happen is that once this AI technology scans all of the fish in these tournament management systems going back years, I think you're going to find a few tournament anglers disappear overnight. It's like a criminal case that happened years ago. They had the DNA but couldn't figure out who it was until some distant relative did a DNA test and they connected the two through the familial connection. Now, this all happened because of the advancement of technology, and I think what's going to also happen is whenever AI gets overlaid with these past years of bass, they're going to uncover some cheaters. Now, is this going to be a public thing? No, it wouldn't be great for the tournament scene. However, I believe that you are going to see a few anglers just disappear overnight, and you're not going to see them fishing any tournaments because a lot of these tournament directors talk to one another. When you're banned in one, you're going to be banned in all of them. I believe that a lot of us watching this in 5-10 years are going to look back to the nostalgia days when all there was forward-facing sonar. Now imagine a future where your forward-facing sonar just doesn't provide you a real-time view, but it's constantly changing based off of the water temperature, based off a variety of different factors. It's pulling in and synthesizing. It's going to be pulling in everything that's available to it, right? And you're going to see the fish, but it's going to be constantly adjusting because it's going to be pulling information from the weather reports, the barometric pressure, the waves, the wind blowing shores. It's going to consider water clarity, seasonal patterns, ensuring that it adapts to the specific time of year, your body of water. It's going to be pulling in the information from spawning stages. It's going to be pulling information over here from moon phases, water depth, all to enhance your experience. I believe it's going to analyze the behavior of bass and where they're going to be in that particular water for you, right? They're going to be on this ledge, or they're going to be on this rock pile, and all this information is going to be aggregated over time. Your AI infused forward-facing sonar, it will eventually aggregate data around that particular body of water, underwater map, underwater structure, and likely where bass are going to congregate. Eventually, it's going to take satellite images. There's companies already doing this, by the way. They're taking satellite images, they're running across your bodies of water, and when it's on a clear day, they can be able to share with you the turbidity of the water and what parts of the lake. It's going to account for fishing pressure, right? It's going to be adjusting in real time, and it might be, simply just look at your map and, hey, try this place, heavily pressured here, untapped location here. Additionally, it could be pulling in information from third-party apps where anglers actually share their hotspots, all synthesizing this data into one unit. And then it's going to share with you what lures to use, what color to use based off of the native bait fish that they know is in that body of water. It's going to show you the line, it's going to show you the rod, it's going to show you the retrieve, it's going to show you freaking everything. And essentially, if we get to the point where a first-time angler, if they can pay to play, they buy all the tech, push a button, and boom, they know, if not more information available to them than it's taken most of us decades to learn. And here's the crazy thing, a lot of the information I just riddled off for you, it's available today. Recently, I had the developers of the Deep Dive app on my show, and they were sharing with me some of the things that they're doing. Now, right now, they're just pulling that information down, and you can check an app, and you can read it, and you can use it to your advantage. It's not aggregated information through AI yet. Right now, they already have lure selectors, right? And this is based off of they paid pros to watch hundreds of hours of professional bass fishing, and then took all that information, aggregated it, and told you what is the best lure for that body of water. They have water clarity maps that they pull from satellites. It's already happening. They have tournament pattern maps, wind effects maps. Like literally you can go onto their app, and I could go 4 days into the future based off of the weather reports, and they're going to show how choppy it is, what parts of the lake are going to have higher waves, which are going to have lower waves, which parts of the lake or body of water that you're fishing is going to have wind-blown shores, maybe for 2 or 3 days. This information is already here. They got water inflow maps, they got current flow charts, you can check those out. All the weather that you could possibly need to start making informed decisions, but right now you have to individually go and check those out. So if you're interested in that app, it's called the Deep Dive app. I will throw the link in the first comment so you guys can check it out. Now, my point of sharing all that is that a lot of this technology is already here. It just has yet to be coalesced with AI. Now, do I think it's coming tomorrow? No, I think this is going to be something that maybe 5 years from now, they start slowly integrating AI with fish finders. I honestly believe it is going to get wild over the next 5 to 10 years when it comes to this type of technology, right? I don't think technology is ever going to stop in this realm. I believe there'll be a lot of tournaments that ban this type of technology, but this technology train is going to be going full force for a very long time. And I believe that because as long as men and women want to be efficient with their time, catch bigger fish, catch more fish, it's going to drive this technology. I mean, we see how this is rapidly growing, right? 1984, I think it was the first LCD screen on a fish finder. In 2011, I believe we got CHIRP, compressed high intensity radiated pulse, or whatever it is. It changed the game then. In 2018, Garmin's Panoptix, the live scope first came out. 2019, I believe Humminbird came out with Mega 360. 2021, I believe they came out with Mega Live imaging. And now here in 2025, right? You got every single major brand, Lowrance, Humminbird, Garmin, constantly refining this technology, right? You got Mega Live 2 now, you got Active Target 2. They keep refining the technology, just making it better and better. Now, I believe the company that actually will start to infuse the AI into fish finders is going to be Garmin, right? They have the government contracts, they have the defense contracts, they're already making integrated flight decks for F-5 aircraft, and their experience with cutting edge technology is why I think they're going to be first to bring this to market. So AI integrated into fish finders, I believe that happens in 5 years. But what happens in 10 years? Now, what I think happens in 10 years is when AI infused fish finders connect with augmented reality. Now, augmented reality is already on the rise. You know, the Apple Vision Pro, you can get into that right now for the low price of $3,500 for that goggle set. So augmented reality or mixed reality simply overlays artificial objects into the real world, allowing us to blend virtual elements into one screen. Now, while AR has been utilized primarily for like watching movies, accessing apps, and writing in like virtual space, it really hasn't found a mainstream use. However, when you pair augmented reality into AI infused fish finders, it could really change the game significantly. Now, some of you, if you follow YouTube, you might remember John B using his Apple Vision Pro goggles, and essentially I believe he mirrored his forward-facing sonar screen there. And that's not necessarily what I'm talking about, because that was essentially wearing goggles and then 70% of the screen was covered by his FFS. This is how I actually think this plays out over time. So how I feel like this could play out 10 plus years is you're gonna have this live sonar data overlay, and you're gonna have the 3D visualizations of what's actually happening under the water, right? Because you have the forward-facing sonar technology and however far that has come in 10 years, and that is computing and it's showing you, and you can be like, you can look over here and you can tell where the ledge is because it's pulling in information from the underwater topographical maps, and it's showing you that there's a log, it's showing you there's a bass next to that log, it's showing you that bass is swimming away, it's showing you that brush pile, it's showing you everything. And also by pulling in all this data, it's gonna be guiding you around the lake, right? It's gonna show you, oh, you wanna go here first, then here. It continues to pull in information. Oh, there's a storm coming in. Oh, the wind blowing shore has been wind blowing for 3 days straight. It's just guiding you around the lake. I can also see this visualizing real-time updates when it comes to barometric pressure, when it comes to weather. It's gonna start directing you to those optimal places. And this is something that's gonna wrap around your head, right? You're gonna be able to see the water, you're gonna be able to see your boat. It's gonna be superimposing this information. And you're going to have that hands-free control because you're gonna be able to just voice command this thing to do whatever you want it to do. And it's gonna be pulling in information, it's gonna be doing fish behavior predictions, it's gonna be pulling in time of day, water temperature, lunar phases. It's gonna pop up on the screen, throw this lure, throw this color. Now I understand why you might think, hey, this is super futuristic. I don't think, like I said before in this video, that we're not going to see it within our lifetime. I think I'm definitely going to be seeing it within my lifetime. And I believe there's a lot of you out there like, bring it on, right? There isn't a number of how much money you wouldn't pay to catch your double digit, to be efficient out in the water, to catch more bass. You just freaking love it. But there's others of you out there, you're already like, hey, it's already gone too far. And the evolution and how this continues to ramp up, you don't like it because there's a variety of different reasons why. You don't like the decreased recreational and social value, and you believe this is gonna isolate anglers, right? I mean, fishing is one of those things that you usually do with friends. You share about lures, you go and take your kids fishing, you are involved in fishing tournaments because you love the camaraderie. If AI systems take over bass fishing eventually, it can make fishing feel isolated, technology driven, rather than this communal and recreational pursuit. And then you have this loss of challenge, right? The part of the allure of bass fishing is not knowing where they are, right? That's kind of the fun about it. And you just use all this information that you've learned over your lifetime to dial them in. And that's what makes someone a better angler. Now, if AI and all this technology that's coming is able to pinpoint bass behavior with accuracy, that could definitely take away from the unpredictability that makes bass fishing so thrilling to begin with. And then I believe a lot of you already hear the loss of personal connection with nature. Now, bass fishing usually fosters a really strong connection with nature, observing the wildlife, paying attention to the weather patterns as these change throughout the day. If fishing becomes overly dependent on AI and technology, this personal interaction with the natural world could fade as technology steps in and makes many of the decisions for us. The feeling of being in tune with water and ecosystem could be replaced by a more clinical, screen-driven approach. And then if you believe technology goes too far, you start creating an instant gratification culture, which we already have, but then it seeps into bass fishing. And one of the aspects of bass fishing that makes it so rewarding is the time that it takes to dial in the techniques and lures and information that you have crafted over the years. As technology grows, you're just going to get this follow the equation and catch a fish. This could remove the sense of achievement that comes from learning the craft over time. So, does AI and the evolution of technology end up destroying bass fishing, right? And at what point does it cease to become a sport and just become an equation to follow? And here's the reality, I don't know. I think it's gonna be different for every single person, but what I would love to hear is from you. Maybe you work with AI, maybe you know a whole lot more about this, and maybe you have a different take. If you have a different take, please let me know in the comments below. I look forward to reading those. Now, I referenced two videos in this video, and really they're a podcast, and one of them is right here. This is gonna be with the creators of the Deep Dive app. Super fascinating. And the other one over here is the duplicate bass controversy. You can check that out. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit me up in the comments. I'll see ya.